Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband when I left the bar? Original post. I, 34 female, been married to my husband, 35 male, for almost a year now, and we dated for 3 years before. Ever since we started dating, whenever we go out without the other, we both let each other know where we are and when we arrive or leave, as a safety thing. Example, hey, I arrived to X bar, everything fine, or hey, I'm leaving the bar on an Uber, should be home in 10 minutes. Now, this weekend I went out with my friend Amy and we went to a restaurant and to dance. Around 2 a.m. we decided to go home, and because we live in opposite directions, we each took a different Uber. As usual, I texted my husband to let him know I was going home, and he told me that he was also leaving his friend's house and we should arrive at the same time. I knew that he was out with some of his friends that included Amy's fiancé, and we all know each other for a long time. But I wasn't really thinking about that, just following my routine. We both got home. I texted Amy to let her know I was home safe and went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, I had tons of messages and a few missed calls from Amy. My husband had also some messages and calls from Amy's fiancé. In her text, she was asking me what I had told her fiancé, what had my husband told the fiancé, how dare we meddle in their relationship, etc. The texts on my husband's phone were just asking if I had arrived home, and if I had any idea where Amy was. I called Amy, and she again asked what had I told her fiancé. I told her I haven't spoke with him, and she called me an a-hole and a liar, because if I didn't spoke to him, how did he know I had left at 2 a.m.? I explained to her that I had texted my husband as I always do, and she said I'm an a-hole for not telling her that I was doing that, and that my husband is a controlling a-hole for making me text him and for telling her fiancé that she was also leaving. Then she hung up and haven't picked up again. My husband said he only told his friends that he was leaving because he wanted to arrive home the same time as me, and that if my friend did something, I don't know what, that's on her, not me. The thing is, this has reached my other friends, and some are saying that I should text my husband when I arrive home, not when I leave the club, and that I'm an a-hole for not telling Amy what I was texting my husband. Some agree with my husband and say this is on Amy for lying as she said we both stayed dancing even later, and not on me for texting my husband. Honestly, I don't know what to think, as I feel like maybe I should just text my husband arriving home instead to avoid compromising others, or to avoid creating an imaginary curfew for my friends. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. What the actual foot? No, OP candidate should tell the husband when she's leaving as a security measure, not when arriving. That defeats the purpose of letting each other know to be safe. On the other hand, OP is not putting any curfew to anybody. If the friend didn't inform the husband she was staying longer for whatever reason, or they don't have enough trust with each other to be honest, or not to be worried in these situations, then it's on them and their relationship. So the friend is a liar and OP is the one who pays for it, not the a-hole. Agreed, not the a-hole. As someone who listens to a lot of true crime podcasters and YouTubers, always let someone know where you are, especially if it's late and assuming alcohol is involved. OP's friend is a crappy friend. She lied and got caught, now she's lashing out at everyone else for her mistake. She couldn't even let OP in on the fact she was using her as her alibi. Amy's delusional, and I wonder how long she has been using OP without them knowing to do whatever sneaky shenanigans she has been up to. Not the a-hole. Exactly, the safety aspect of this. Amy's stupid butt was in the wind, so she's expecting everyone she knows to be? My boyfriend and I do the same as OP, but I also have always done this with my friends. My friends check in when we get home, and not just the ladies because dudes can die too. A safety check is standard, or it should be. Honestly, I believe OP is not a-hole. This is not her fault her friend lied to her partner. Amy did something stupid and got caught, and now it's putting the blame on OP. That's unfair. Amy is gaslighting OP, saying that husband is controlling and blaming OP for not telling her she texted her husband. Husband needs to tell his friend what Amy said. Amy cheated or did something shady, and I hope her fiancé breaks up with her. Amy cheated, nothing else. She cheated. I don't understand unless Amy is trying to hide stuff from her fiancé. If that's the case, it makes sense why she's mad. OP didn't do anything wrong here. I applaud OP and her husband for maintaining communication when they go out without each other. Shows integrity and strong relationship, and just general intelligence of doing what we can to be a bit safer. That is exactly it. Amy is mad at OP because she told her fiancé she was staying out late with her, but Amy's fiancé found out from OP's hubby that OP had been home for an hour already. So Amy got caught lying to her man about where she was, and she's blaming OP for not being good at being an alibi because OP's marriage is too transparent. LMAO. Now for the first update. Hello guys, it's been quite a week. After seeing all the answers, I decided to make the first update about this. I haven't heard Amy's version of what happened during that hour and a half she was missing, but her fiancé told my husband that everything's fine, and that the reason she was late was because she decided to walk home while smoking, and didn't want him to know and be disappointed she's smoking again. As of the wedding, so far that's still happening, but I'm no longer part of the bridal party, as Amy considers me no longer part of her trust circle. I'm still invited to the wedding, but as my husband's +1, because he's still part of the groomsmen. I'm glad I'm not a bridesmaid anymore, and I'm not sure if I'll be comfortable going to the wedding, because Amy and most of her bridesmaids act as if I was trash-talking her to her fiancé when I haven't even spoke to him. I wanted to thank all of those who supported me. I was really worried I had done something bad. But seeing so many people said that they do the same with their significant other or family, I feel much better. The reason she was late was because she decided to walk home while smoking. I didn't want him to know and be disappointed she's smoking again. Ah, yes, and I have a herd of winged unicorns in my yard. I just want to know how many cigarettes she smoked to be out for an hour and a half, just walking and smoking. Also, can I see your winged unicorns? She wasn't any smoking any cigarettes, I guarantee it. But she definitely had something long and cylinder-shaped in her mouth. Well, that guy likes being cheated on, because, yeah, no. 1.5 hours of walking home and smoking? Her reaction was such that I cannot believe smoking is the only thing she was hiding. I'm sure the follow-up post will be, update, Amy was cheating all along. Facts. I'll give Amy's marriage at least 2 to 3 weeks before her husband finds out she cheated on him. Maybe the poor man is in denial. Who would want to believe their loved one choose to cheat? That is exactly what it sounds like. He is in denial and doesn't want to believe it. Amy's excuse is weak, and her fiancé is desperate to believe her. Amy's reaction was way over the top, and if she was only smoking, I doubt she would have reacted as strongly. Don't go OP. Amy's house trashed here. It's not a huge loss to not be in the trust circle of someone that categorically cannot be trusted. Or go and ask Amy who she's cheating on her new husband with. If my friend was using me as a cover for their cheating, I'd want answers. Now for the last update. Well, Reddit, here's the long-awaited update. In short, the wedding was called off. All this I've heard from my husband, a few friends I still had in common with Amy, and from Amy's sister, who is very angry at Amy. Turns out that, as many had assumed, Amy wasn't being faithful. This past weekend, she went dancing with some friends and didn't came home until 5 a.m. Of course, she told her ex-fiancé that she had been with her friends all the time, and that's why she didn't answer her phone. Only for him to tell her that because she wasn't home and wasn't picking up her phone, around 2:30 a.m. he called one of her friends to ask to speak to Amy. And lo and behold, the friend had no idea where Amy was, because they had went dancing all right, but Amy canceled on them and didn't go. She still insisted she was dancing, but with her sister and her sister's friends. Then she went to bed. He called Amy's sister to ask her at what time had Amy left the club to come home, because he remembered the time Amy went dancing with me. And the sister said she hadn't seen Amy either. So, he finally confronted Amy, and after more excuses, she admitted she was with a work friend. At first, she said it was just a friend that she didn't mention because it's a guy, and her fiancé would be jealous. But after more fighting and circle talk, she told him it was just a bit of pre-wedding fun. Nothing serious, and that it wasn't cheating because they didn't have sex, and it was only flirting and hanging out alone at his apartment. So he called off the wedding because he doesn't approve of this kind of pre-wedding fun. He is staying with some friends, and she is calling everyone she can think of to ask us to talk to him to get the wedding back on. Edit, because I saw some questions about my friends and ex-friends. 3 of the bridesmaids still in full support of Amy, saying that her ex should just hear her out, and the other 2 are radio silence. Make of that what you will. The friends in common that I mentioned here are what I consider drama-free. They know what happened before and what happened now. They're the ones that told me I did nothing wrong when the first thing happened in my original post. They weren't bridesmaids, but still part of the same friend group. I remember the first post, and I'm so not surprised with the outcome. I was more surprised when the fiancé believed her smoking story. Undoubtedly he didn't, since he was calling her all night, and ended up calling the friend to talk with her. Guess she thought friends and sister would cover for her. Also, guess they owe OP an apology. I'm not proud of this, but I had a friend when I was young that was trying to escape a controlling relationship, but it was taking her time to save up to leave. So when she wanted to go out without him, she'd use me as a cover. But she was smart enough to tell me when I needed to cover for her. Looking back, I don't know how controlling he really was, or if she was just a cheater, but I had just left a super controlling boyfriend, so it was believable to me at the time. So the real question is, did you dump Amy as a friend? because she sucks big time. We stopped being friends when I was fired from being a bridesmaid and she kicked me out of her circle of trust for talking to my own husband. I don't think she understands what the word trust means. Good riddance. I love when crappy people blow up their own lives. Keep rocking, OP. Oh, she knows what trust means. To her, trust means keeping her secrets so she can cheat without consequence. Even if she didn't physically cheat, she sure as heck lied her butt off more than once, dragging everyone into her messy drama. I hope everyone dumps her. And good for her ex-fiancé. Cheating or not, that amount of off-the-wall lies is enough. Got lost walking home smoking? Can I have some of what she was smoking? No chance it wasn't physical. You don't take a detour at 2 a.m. to just flirt with a colleague alone at his apartment. She was just trickle-truthing her fiancé because she thought she could get away with admitting that when her other alibi fell through. But I agree, even if no happened, he was still right to dump her for lying and throwing all her friends under the bus. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling the woman that I nanny for that her husband is cheating on her? I, 23 female, have been a nanny for this wonderful family for 3 years now. The family consists of mom, I'll call her Amy, dad I'll call him Ben, and their one child I'll call Cindy. I started when Cindy was a month old, and at this point, they all feel like part of my family now too. I decided to stick with them after graduating from college, instead of immediately pursuing a teaching career because I just love Cindy so much. On top of that, they pay me really well. Last weekend, I was out with my boyfriend getting dinner. To my surprise, I saw Ben at a restaurant as well, with a woman who was certainly not Amy. I tried to assume the best, thinking maybe it was a relative of his or something, but then he leaned over and kissed this woman. I was shocked and just told my boyfriend we should go somewhere else, and I pulled him out there quick because I did not want Ben to see me. This happened Saturday of last week. I thought things through that night and over a Sunday, and I really didn't know what to do. Amy's expecting another child with Ben, and I tried putting myself in her shoes. I decided that if it were me, I'd want to know that my husband was seeing another woman, so I told her on Monday morning. Ben is never the one home in the morning when I show up. It's always Amy. I walked in, took a deep breath, and just explained what I had seen. I was hoping maybe she'd tell me that the relationship was open, or they were already separating, but unfortunately that's not what happened. She immediately got tears in her eyes, and was just shaking her head in disbelief, and she kept asking me if I was sure that I had seen him. I told her yes, and she left work still crying. When she got home later, she seemed pretty emotionless and was quite cold with me. I got a text later on that evening saying that her and Cindy were going to stay with her parents for a week or two, and that she wouldn't be needing me to nanny until they got back. I haven't received any further communication from her. I thought that I was right for telling her, but my mom and a few of my friends told me that I was wrong for sticking my nose in their business. My mom even said I'll probably end up losing my job now, and I'll admit, that has me very stressed out. Now I feel like an a-hole who blew up a marriage and stressed a pregnant woman out. So am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. No, but you might want to start that teaching career now. You did the right thing, but you'll probably have to deal with the fallout too. Sometimes doing the right thing has negative consequences. But you sound like a good person, and keeping it to yourself would have negative consequences for your well-being. No, OP, not the a-hole. Not at all. You absolutely did the right thing, and for the right reasons. Her husband blew up the marriage, not you. You did not stick your nose in their business. He advertised his business in public, and you happened to see it. Thank goodness. Can you imagine being pregnant with your second child? You have that child, then a few years later you have a mysterious STD, so it comes out your husband was a dirtbag cheater. And then you find out the nanny knew the whole time and didn't tell you? No way. You were right to do what you did. It doesn't sound like he was even trying to hide it. Yes, you may lose your job, especially if his income is significantly more than hers. She may not be able to afford it during and after divorce. So don't assume there is anything personal involved there. Give her the time she noted before getting too concerned, but my advice is to sign up to substitute teach in your area in the meantime. Don't delay your future while you wait. Thank you for doing what you did. I wish someone would have done so for me back in the day. Thank you so much for this response. The substitute teaching idea is a very good one. I'm going to look into it. You're absolutely right. I honestly can't even imagine being in her position right now. It's just too horrible. This man was at a restaurant about 30 minutes away from our smallish town, so it very easily could have been someone else who saw him and told his wife. He really wasn't trying to hide it. Not the a-hole. I'm sure she wasn't trying to be cold with you. She was probably in shock and survival mode. The family may be disintegrating, so you may not have a nanny job anymore, but that isn't your fault. You did the right thing. If I was the wife, I would want to be told. Yeah, I'm not upset that she was cold with me. I know I'd be in shock if I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me, and we aren't married and have no kids together. I know she must be feeling absolutely horrible right now. Thank you for your response.